Hello and welcome to the Dash podcast. This is episode 133. I'm Mark Mason and I'm joined by my fellow co-host and amigo Joel Valenzuela. How's it going, Joel? Okay, he's silent at the moment because he's out and about. He's actually traveled all the way down to Arizona in preparation for the open house event tomorrow for Dash Evolution. I'm sure we can discuss that later on.
I've taken a vow of majority silence with some intermittent speech accompanied by live music, so enjoy it while you can.
Excellent. And joining us this week, high on crypto, Kenn Bosak. Welcome back to the podcast.
How goes it, bro?
Oh, wow. Look, you still got the tattoo. It's still looking pretty good.
It doesn't come off.
Yeah, man. That's great. And that the retro dash as well. That's even better,
yeah,
right?
I know. It's a throwback.
It's great. How are you doing? You're based in Philadelphia, right? Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah.
So you're like the crypto Fresh Prince of Philly.
Yeah, waiting for the Netflix series to come out any day now.
Yeah, excellent. Well, it's been a while since we've actually spoke, so we've got a lot to catch up on. And actually, I just before we went live, I was just telling Ken I was sharing out the links on certain social media, and I mentioned Reddit, and it really triggered Ken because he just said Reddit is a scam. So, like, why do you think Reddit is a scam? Let's get into that.
I mean, it is in its nature of how it's designed to basically be like a communistic social platform, creating, elite echo chambers of very selected and approved knowledge, which has always and historically been proven to create problems where, the victors lead to what history really is. And Reddit is a great example of what not to do when it comes to social media. And in the long run, a couple of years from now, people will see the difference between platforms like that and things like Steemit.
Right. Well, it's interesting you mentioned Steemit because I heard a rumor that there's a Kenn Bosak coin and it works on Steem. Is that right?
Yeah, I actually created my own crypto on the Steem blockchain called Kenn. It's Kenn with 2 N's, and there's only 420 in circulation. And
I am perplexed. How did you come up with that number?
It just came to me in a dream. Just woke up and I was like 420 coins. But no, really, the reason was I was going to redeem them for 1 hour of my time, one-on-one for podcast or interview, or somebody just wants to talk to me and just see how my day is going. They could just buy a Kenn coin, send it to me, and book a date in the memo on the Steem blockchain, like a calendar book. And I can see the transaction, go to my calendar, put the memo, the time in, and send them the link, and just sort of a weird way to kind of do like a media token.
Okay, cool. And what's this Splinterlands poster in the background? I know you're a bit of a gamer. Yeah. Is this crypto related or is this like a separate thing?
No, it's actually crypto related. It's a trading card game built on the Steem blockchain, and every aspect of the game, from the cards to the battles to it's not just, they use crypto assets. It's all blockchain scripted gaming, just being displayed in a UI that people can enjoy when they look at it. But really in the background, every action is a blockchain action. And I've been playing the game for about a year and a half now. And, total bias, I've collected a decent amount of the cards, but they have accumulated value the whole through. If anybody were to look at the Steem Monsters or Splinterlands market cap, it has went enormously well through the bear market. So my cards have just increased in value as the game becomes more popular due to the scarcity of the cards. And the market has about $5,000 to $10,000 in daily liquidity. So people are buying and selling the cards.
In the we do an after party after every podcast just within our Discord community, and we actually had someone come in last Friday and they were saying what actually a good gamer you are. That I think they've been watching your streams. They're like, actually, that Kenn, he's actually really good at games. I forget the name of the game that they were saying, but it was some kind of strategy. Legends? Yes, I think that might have been it.
Yeah, it's a strategic shooter game. It's sort of like Call of Duty. If Call of Duty was checkers, this is more of chess.
Is that crypto related as well? Or?
No, it's just a first-person shooter game, but there's a few blockchain games that actually have been reaching out to me because I just stream my PlayStation games whenever I get bored, and they want me to stream their games. So I'll be streaming Splinterlands much more frequently and other blockchain games.
Cool. Well, I want to talk to you about gaming on blockchain in a little bit, but I think I saw last week you do a tweet. And I thought that can't have been Kenn that tweeted that.
Oh no!
Because I think you had a change of heart, and you know what I'm going to go at. It's about Roger and Bitcoin Cash. Like,
yeah.
Can you what's going on, Kenn? Like, what?
We're gonna have to rename you to BCAN.
No, everyone's gonna be like Ken B. The B stands for B Cash or some shit. No, no. The more I dove down what Bitcoin has become's rabbit hole, because it's no longer the same rabbit hole I started going down when I got into Bitcoin. It forked. This is a new, and as I dove down it and started to do more, technical research into like Lightning Network, and I am a devil's advocate, malicious, I'm like, how can this go wrong? What's the worst case scenario? I'm always that negative Nancy of things that I love myself, and I had to be unbiased to Bitcoin when I was looking at Lightning and the recent developments with Mimblewimble, what's coming out with the issues with like SegWit. It's just I am starting to sort of agree with Roger in the sense that BCH was more Bitcoin than what Bitcoin is becoming, this bells and whistles featured this and that. It's not exactly headed in the direction it was projected to go when I first got into it. And as I look more into Bitcoin Cash, and I've been using Bitcoin Cash all month this month as like a test to see, because I've been using Bitcoin, I'm all in on crypto, and the transaction fees are high. And I know everyone watching is like, well, then just use Dash. And my argument for not using anything other than Bitcoin is, well, then I have Bitcoin. That's what I accept for payment. So I have Bitcoin as my money that I accept. Why would I trade that money for other money and then use that money to spend? There's too many fees now, even if I'm saving money using the new money. So I was accepting Bitcoin Cash this month, and I've been using it. And the amount of money and the amount of confirmation speed and everything just being what I originally expected Bitcoin to feel like, just felt more like Bitcoin to me.
No, this is interesting. Joel, do you want to chip in?
Yeah, it's pretty obvious, and you had very strong feelings about Roger Ver and Bitcoin Cash before, and it's pretty obvious that this is something you can only arrive at by actual, hey, guess what? Real world use. Now, don't let the happy, jammy music in the background fool you. This is not a happy subject. That something that like this is just no one is using it, or they would know that they would come to the same conclusion as you can. What do you think?
Yeah, no, if you like me, I talk to my Uber drivers, I talk to the bartenders and the waitresses, the small storefront owners, and when I'm trying to talk to them about BTC, the confirmation time, the pending, the upgrades with, hey, you got to get ready for Lightning, and what's the difference between this legacy and SegWit and all this, and it's just. I sense like if I send them a tip in Bitcoin and it can't hit confirmation enough for them to spend it before I'm done eating my meal, there's a problem with that. And I'm starting to have a problem with that. And everyone is, very excited for Lightning, and I'm excited, but I also see the double-sided sword of Lightning and the centralization ability that could be, where Lightning could be compromised. It's very likely, and it has a huge potential to start centralizing Bitcoin through those channels.
Well, I recall in the past that you was quite disgruntled with Roger because of you felt that he was misleading people because of the Bitcoin.com and the wallets and stuff as well.
I still believe that for sure. He did, though. I mean, he said BCH is Bitcoin and labeled BTC Bitcoin Core, and that created a huge confusion for investors. That was just, that was fraud.
Yeah, and even then, after then there's the whole drama with Craig Wright and Bitcoin Satoshi Vision. I mean, the drama never goes on. But in terms of real world use and utility, you're finding Bitcoin Cash is working quite well. Here's the thing. What do you think about the argument of Bitcoin being digital gold, Bitcoin being a store of value? Because there's still a lot of people pushing that message. So you disagree with that?
It's the dumbest analogy you could have. It's really underselling what this is. And it's because people need to grasp a terminology that's relatable when explaining something, but that's a burden to the technology when you start to, pin it to something that's just not what, like saying Bitcoin is digital gold is really underselling what Bitcoin really is. Bitcoin as money is the most boring aspect of Bitcoin and blockchain. Like, I hope that people can realize at the point that this technology could potentially make the concept of money obsolete because of the other implications and potentials of it. So like, utilizing the tech outside of the currency aspect is much more interesting for me.
But you're making arguments based on utility, and I'm in the same camp as you, right? I want people to use it. I mean, blockchain's a technology. It was created for that purpose, right?
Yep.
But like, how do we get to that stage? Because surely you agree with me, most of the market's based on speculation. So if people aren't using it, they're not going to come to the same conclusion you are.
Well, they're not going to unless they have to. So it's going to come to that point of the ships, turning sideways and capsizing. These fiat, ships, these banks, just when they fail, that's when people will move in. But they're not. No one evolves now due to comfort because a choice. They do it out of necessity or out of essential, right? Like most people won't get a new operating system unless there's a preparatory application for it, and that's kind of what forces their hands. Everybody was using Xbox or PlayStation because of specific games that were released only for those consoles. As businesses start to say, hey, we only accept Bitcoin, or we only accept Dash, or we only accept because of the hardships of the previous currency system, that's, I think, the tipping point, like where it's forced. Right now in America, there's no reason to really accept Bitcoin or anything. Everything sort of works at the point. I mean, 3%, 5% transaction fees, double spending, all this stuff. It still works. Mom and pop shops still do it, and they succeed. It works. So it's going to come to where first world finance and economic reaches third world, momentum.
Very interesting. Yes, I agree as well. And even though the transaction levels and mempool of Bitcoin is so much lower than what it was at the peak of the 20K highs that Bitcoin previously achieved, even today, I think the fees in Bitcoin are excessive. But I think I agree with you. It's going to have to come to a tipping point where people are forced. And if there is another rally in the coin market cap and things do go up, we're going to see the mempool fill up, transaction levels go up, and the fees are going to go up, and people are going to be forced. I know people were pushing hashtag the flipping in before with Ethereum. And Ethereum has a lot of interesting stuff going on right now. They've got the Ethereum 2.0. They're eventually going to move into proof of stake, and they're taking a page out of Dash's book, so to speak. They're doing the validator nodes on with 32 Ethereum being the collateral amount required for the validator nodes. Have you looked into Ethereum and 2.0 and this new staking?
A little bit, and I was actually going to bring up, I'm not sure if this staking is malleable, if they could change that number. But when I first started to look into it and saw that, that's the first thing that crossed my mind was, if Ethereum were to go parabolic, would they adjust that number and do sort of a stock split or some validated node split? You know what I'm saying? If you have 32 and it goes up and whatever, then they change it to 11. Now you have 3 instead of 1.
Yeah, I'm still reading up about this myself and trying to put the piece of the puzzle together. But I think it's like a 4% for the validator node. And of course, just like a masternode hosting with Dash, you're still going to have to pay for hosting somewhere else. I think all nodes have tweeted out that they're going to support it. So I think they do probably doing it like for $5 hosting a month, but that's still going to require some form of VPS. Of course, you could do it at home, but if you want to be up 24/7, you really need a solution like that.
Yeah,
But
I just hope everyone's ready for the bugs. Every time there's an update, there's always bugs. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. So just get ready. It's not, everyone, I guess, is, buy the rumor, sell the news on this. It's, everyone's excited for the huge pump of Ethereum 2.0. But try not to look too much at the candles and the charts and look more at the tech, and just be prepared. So if you have a lot of assets on, the Ethereum network, and it might be safer to, reconsolidate somewhere else in the meantime, and then purchase those back after everything has been ironed out, just to keep yourself and your portfolio technically, not just financially, safe.
Yes, I agree. What's this Monarch stuff that you're wearing?
Oh, Monarch, they're my sponsor, bro. They have an awesome wallet. So they just made it so you could do like reoccurring purchases on things like my Netflix bills. So I can use Bitcoin and I've been using Bitcoin Cash and just like paying my stuff from in there. And you could set your own like subscription-based payment methods up.
So
he's lying. It's really because he's the king of Bcash now.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So hang on. So
I'm getting a Bcash tattoo now.
Are you really?
No.
What about Monarch one?
Maybe. Actually, the problem is I like the Monarch crown and everything, but I don't know exactly where I would get a crown other than on my head, and I'm just not at that level of like comfortable with tattoos on my face yet.
Okay, cool. So hang on. So just to recap, so I've seen Monarch. I've seen people be wearing the hats and stuff. But like, what? So it's a crypto wallet. It supports multiple coins. So
yeah, multiple coins. Right now, they have a security token. They have a utility token. Their wallet. They have multiple assets. They have that subscription-based payment method built in for reoccurring transactions. They have partnered with Simplex for purchasing crypto right from the wallet. So it's not like Coinbase where they have the keys after you buy your crypto on Coinbase. If you buy it on the Monarch wallet, it goes right to your keys, right to your wallet. And they partnered with Total for the decentralized exchange right in the wallet, so you can trade your ERC20s. Let's see. They have a lot. I mean, like, that's what I like about Monarch is it's really, when you use the app, it's more than just a Bitcoin wallet. It has a lot of things going on with it, and they've partnered with like even Celsius Network. So if you're holding, like a lot of people that I talk to that are traditional investors, they're used to making money by having something just sit there and not just gain value, make them money, but they can rent it, lease it. They can do something with it while it's gaining value, also monetizing it by it being it. So that's when you have, Dash or Bitcoin or whatever, you can go to Celsius Network and you can hold it there and you can earn interest on it. And you can do that right from inside the Monarch wallet.
Yeah, the DeFi space at the moment is growing. It's like the new buzzword. There's been huge growth in the blockchain industry, not with regards to crypto loans, but also staking options. And you've named a few just there. Do you stake yourself?
Yeah, I have some crypto on Celsius Network. I have a masternode with Rapids, and I have some Divi. I think that what Divi's doing with the ease of masternodes and everything is really cool too. Like, the one-click masternode, ease of setup, set it up, set it and forget it kind of style. Like it's like Amazon shopping, easy to just set up a masternode with Divi.
Oh, really? Oh, well, I've not explored that. I've been using a hosting provider called Allnodes, and on there they show like the average time to set up a node, and they support Dash. I think they support 13 different projects. I don't know if Divi's on there.
Have you seen Pocket Nodes?
No, I haven't.
It's an interesting application. It looks like a wallet or like sort of like a Blockfolio, but it's for masternodes and setting them up, tracking their gains, their costs, and everything. It's a really cool masternode application or wallet. I'd want to say masternode wallet, if that makes sense. But it's called Pocket Nodes.
That sounds similar to Allnodes, so I'll definitely have to check that out. So that's called Pocket Nodes. Okay, I'll have to check that out. Yes, because with Allnodes, they say on average it takes 47 seconds to set it up. So it's a kind of like automated solution. But also as well, yes, you can monitor your nodes on whatever coins that they support, and they'll also send you notifications via Telegram or Discord. If the server goes down, if there's an update, or if there's a payout. And yeah, it makes things really good. And
I get worried about the custodial solutions for services like this, though, and the ease of manipulation that could potentially, pop up, because
here's the thing.
I could just open an app and sell you master nodes, and I'm really taking your money and doing God knows what with it and showing you returns until you try to cash out and say, well, you lost your 2FA. The password you're putting in is wrong, and it's not on me, it's on you.
No, this is okay. So let me just all nodes, their service. Not that I'm not promoting them or anything.
I'm just saying similar things will jump off their cloud.
It supports, so you actually hold your crypto on your hardware wallet. They don't actually get access. So it's a trustless service. You're just paying $5 for the fee. Yeah, but I mean that's for full masternode ownership. So that's not for shares. So It's a trustless system. So I'm keeping hold of everything that I own.
Yeah, tokenized masternodes and like what Swarm Fund and Dash, that's just so amazing.
Yeah. So I actually think staking is a really interesting aspect of actually bringing people into crypto. I mean, the coin market cap right now, I mean, I'm smiling, but my crypto wallet's hurting really bad. And actually living off crypto and selling crypto at these prices, having to pay bills and stuff, is absolutely killing me. It breaks my heart. I mean,
have you put two and two together? I mean, I'm doing pretty well, but the people I talk to actually that are weary of like the volatility of everything and still want to stake and have that revenue model in their life and their portfolio, introduce them. And most people don't put these two things together, and it's weird. Stable coins and staking, done. You get the best of both worlds. And a lot of traditional investors want that fiat stability, but they also want that introduction to the same environment that everyone's utilizing this crypto stuff for. So they could take their stable coin, their cash, they could stake that stable coin on Celsius network and earn, I think it's like 6%, which is way more than the bank's going to be giving them.
So that's a really good point. However, I do think we should give a bit of a disclaimer, because if you use services like crypto.com's app or Celsius network, these are centralized solutions. You don't get your private keys, right?
Yes.
So
yeah. They're insured by BitGo, I believe.
Yes. Yeah. So they're the custodian, and I believe they have insurance that covers them on that. So that is good. But like, I feel like I should always put, because this is a kind of realization that I came to fairly recently as well, because where we get funds from the block rewards from the treasury and Dash, we get them on a monthly basis. But because of the volatility, when we're essentially paying people to do work on month to month, it just changes constantly. Right. And of course, when you're paying people, you always tie it to like a dollar amount. And it's an interesting model, because these stable coins, obviously they're tied to the dollar, and now there's multiple options. Coinbase has their one, Binance has got that. It's all over the place, right? But like, you can choose to stake it, and you're right. So it's the equivalent of holding US dollars, but at the same time, you can stake it and get better rewards than the high street bank account.
And those rewards could be Bitcoin. You could earn your interest on your stable coins and get that in a volatile asset like Bitcoin or Dash. So you could actually get paid crypto just for holding your cash in a stable coin environment rather than in a banking fiat environment.
Yeah, and for those that are interested, there are other DeFi options that are decentralized, not centralized options, but they only pay, I think there's Compound and there's a few other ones, but I think they pay around like 4%. So you're not going to get as much, but because that's done at sort of protocol
level. I'm still
level.
Worried about these DeFi solutions. And so like, we're still at the age of beta for everything. No DeFi is over a year old, I believe, right? Like,
yeah.
So I'm still waiting for a 0-day Mt. Gox event for a technological evolution to be enforced into DeFi environment because of that. It's so fresh. It's just one of those environments that I'm actually, that's why I use Celsius. I know I'm not a fan of like, not your keys, not your crypto, but they are insured. And I know Alex Machinsky's face. It's not like BitConnect where we don't know the founder and CEO's face. And I even know where the dude like lives. I've been to his penthouse place up in New York. So it's like these centralized solutions provide some sort of comfort in that state. Well, I do believe in DeFi's and all these, but I think it's going to take a long time for them to, be secure enough for, I would even say like institutional level money to be moved into it.
Yeah, if you're going to bring in the mainstream audience and they're catered to, they're not familiar with the crypto world, they're they're conditioned with their online banking, they need that user experience or something to come across. You know, that even for people of all technical abilities and levels. My grandparents can drive a car, you know, but they don't know how the engine works, you know. So yeah. I think essentially, if they can see it as a vehicle, and if it is tied to the dollar, then and they're going to get more in their savings account. I do think there is a good selling point within that. However, I've not always been a fan of stable coins because it just feels like there's too many. When I look at coin market cap now, it just feels it's too saturated. And we've heard horror stories with Tether and all this sort of stuff, where they're just using a couple of bank accounts. And it's just like, I don't know. I still feel unease with all these stable coins. So what is Kenn Bosak's take on stable coins? Do you like them? Or
I think it's the candy coated red pill. It's sort of like a Trojan horse effect. People will probably have that comfort with it, probably see more merchant adoption with stable coins as they become more popular and more, I would say, legitimized, right? Like, we don't know who created Bitcoin, but I know the Coinbase guy, he created this stable coin, so whatever, right? Like, there's always that scapegoat or somebody that you can blame when things go wrong. So they'll probably be more likely to accept these stable coins in a merchant environment. But you're right, when that shit does hit the proverbial fan of stable coin tomfoolery, where the market has been manipulated, which it will be at some point, people will see that, and then I think that will be sort of like the financial Darwinism effect, right, where people will be forced into educating financially to live and survive this economic crisis that's going to happen. And I think stable coins will bring the comfort of a digital currency environment and era by being that on-ramp and that bridge. Like, everyone wanted to know, like, where's the on-ramp? The on-ramp is stable coins. No, you don't have to love them. Yeah, they suck, but it's a great on-ramp to get people from A to B. Once they're over on B, the ramp can fall and burn for all we care.
Yeah, think about this. If you pay a merchant in Dash or something, they can convert that to a stable coin right away for less than, let's say, the 3% or version 1.5% might be to fiat. They can use that to then pay some bills, and then the rest they can just convert to fiat in their bank account and only pay the conversion fee to get to the bank account on whatever they need. And then they get to just, wow, I paid all these bills so easily. I accepted money for not very much. And then, then rinse and repeat, right?
I think that the cashing out to the bank part won't be necessary. A lot of these platforms that are designing these fiat off and on-ramp gateways, I think, are burning fuel that's unnecessary. By the time that is going to occur, which I believe will be very soon, with the way, like, we're not at mainstream adoption by any means, but we have definitely hit the pinnacle of mainstream awareness. I don't meet anybody that I'm like, hey, do you know what Bitcoin is? They're like, yeah, it's mass awareness has been achieved. And as we move forward more into that, we'll see that, where the merchants, once they accept these stable coins, will realize that they don't need the banks at the end of the food chain anymore. It's an unnecessary platform for them. And it's like once Netflix came out, who the fuck was going to Blockbuster?
The key thing is when you can pay bills in crypto, including stable coins.
Well, there's always going to be third parties. Even if you have cash, you have to go to a third. Like, if I have cash or a debit or credit card and I want to pay my rent for my apartment, I have to go to their third-party processor to do that. So there will be a third-party processor that just accepts stable coins to help you pay your Comcast bill or your electric bill. Like, I already use multiple services that help provide some of those services.
Hit me up after and tell me which ones those are. I'm always trying to explore new options.
Cool.
Let's talk Digibyte.
The new Bitcoin? Digibyte?
No, have you heard the drama
with Poloniex?
Yeah, they're delisting them after they were talking shit on Tron. The drama in the crypto community. Wow.
And Justin Sun came out early November and notified everyone that he owns quite a large stake within Poloniex. So people connecting the dots, and yes, It's
Do you
another.
remember the old gangster
I don't see
cronyism we tried to
anything-
get away from? Yeah, well, guess what? Human nature is human nature.
Well, once Circle bought Poloniex, it was dead to me, and it should have been dead to everybody else. It was clearly compromised the moment it was acquired. That's just, you know, my spiel on Poloniex. But I mean, honestly, I don't feel bad for Digibyte, and Poloniex delisted tons of coins as soon as they were acquired by Circle. Dozens of coins were delisted. It was like an apocalyptic event. You know, so I mean, the point is they shouldn't care that they were delisted from Poloniex, because they shouldn't care about these centralized exchanges to begin with. And if they paid some kind of listing fee and got screwed by getting delisted after that, then that's the cost of doing dumb business, and that's what they get. And hopefully it incentivizes them to never pay a listing fee to go on another exchange ever again due to the fear of being delisted. And maybe, hopefully, other low cap coins see what Poloniex did to them and choose out of opting into getting listed and paying that fee to go on Poloniex. So maybe, because that's where exchanges make their money, it's fucking listing fees. It's not the exchange fee, the little micro transaction fees. No, it's the listing fees is their bread and butter. And I hope that this is what stars them to death.
So you're saying beforehand that you think the mainstream is quite aware of what Bitcoin is, but the coin market cap isn't doing very good right now. Do you subscribe to the idea or the hype behind the BTC halving in May 2020? Do you think that's going to rally the markets, or do you think that's already priced in?
I don't think it's priced in, because most people, the majority of the 1% that are in crypto of the world aren't even aware of it. I've already witnessed this in 2016, right? 15, whatever, when that last halving occurred. And
yeah,
I mean, most people thought it was a friggin' stock split. You know, like nobody understood what it was. It was definitely one of the most misinformed or a misnomer, I guess, going through the space, that, you know, you were going to get double your Bitcoin because it was halving, and people thought that they were going to, if they the more Bitcoin they owned, the more Bitcoin they'd have after the halving or something. So that's not how it works. And maybe that might not be the majority's perspective this time around, but clearly the majority isn't aware of what halving means or is, or the event is even. Most of the people that are in Bitcoin are just speculation traders, and they're looking at the exchange, and they're not even looking at Cointelegraph articles to begin with. That's the majority of the people's money that's in crypto. It's not enthusiasts, it's bankers, fiaters, and traders. And they don't care to get technical. They only look at the charts for their TA. This is going to go over their head. And I'm hoping that, you know, people realize that the miners are the ones that are really going to be setting the price after this. You know, that they're going to be stockpiling this and probably mining in the negative. And, you know, virgin Bitcoin from a miner is way more valuable than a Bitcoin that has been traded multiple times on an exchange. So people fail to realize, like, one Bitcoin doesn't always equal one Bitcoin, because I wouldn't give you one
mean no
Bitcoin.
Fungibility?
Oh no, fungibility is like one of those weird mythical words like love and value and unicorns. But like, no, I wouldn't give you
store of value.
Yeah, I wouldn't give you one Bitcoin that came fresh from a miner for one Bitcoin that was used on Silk Road and has been deemed blacklisted. They are not equal Bitcoin.
Well, Ken, you've changed, my friend. Like,
I've learned more, and it sucks,
dude. Like, I'm still processing this. It used to be, hey, I'm Kenn Bosak, you know, Bitcoin accessory mascot for this, that, and now, like, I don't know, because it was difficult for me, because I was a Bitcoin evangelist. I had one of the first Bitcoin merchandise shops. I was doing petitions. That's how actually I met Joel before I got into Dash, because he was a journalist at Cointelegraph at the time. And this was before the fault with Bitcoin Cash, and I kind of had that pain, and I didn't make the full transition over to Dash straight away. I still believed in it, and I told all my friends and family, and it pains me, but it was only when it came to the utility aspect, when I was talking to friends and family, it was just a no-go, and I just realized I just wasn't being realistic, and I was just like, well, if I'm going to actually live off this, I can't do it. And actually, that's how Joel, we all know his story, how he got in, because he was living off Bitcoin, but at some point it just became unbearable, and he had to find an alternative solution. And that's
the
how
point I got to. I mean, living off of Bitcoin has pushed me to the point that I can't afford to live off of Bitcoin because of the cost of living off of Bitcoin.
That's exactly the case with me. And people will say, well, just pay the higher fee. It's not that bad. What you don't get it is I was living on very thin margins. And if you get a $3 transaction fee here, a $1 transaction fee there, eventually adds up to like $10 in a week, which some weeks is all I had for groceries. And it's
Right.
like at that point, you just can't live anymore. You can't
Well,
eat.
and some of the services I use to buy, like, gift cards or, be middlemen for other platforms so I could get groceries and, pay my services with crypto. The confirmation time between sending and receiving with Bitcoin sometimes would have me waiting to receive my Bitcoin back and have to start the transaction all over again because it timed out.
So one thing I want to take advantage of while you're here is that you're quite a sociable person. You're obviously a personality in the crypto space, popular streamer as well, but you attend a lot of events and meetups, and you seem to move in different circles of different crypto projects. So you have quite a well-established knowledge of what's going on in the space. So you're talking about Bitcoin Cash now because you value the utility, but how important is community behind a crypto project? Do you value that, or do you value the utility more, or does it go hand in hand?
I mean, personally, I believe it matters a lot, but I mean, economically, I don't think it matters at all. The community of any asset. I think the utility speaks for itself more than the community matters in a sense. You could see all the people that have been promoting Bitcoin for all these years with Nick Spanos outside the Federal Reserve offering people free Bitcoin, and they're just saying, no, I'm good. So it really doesn't matter how well the community campaigns or rallies or how toxic the community is. When it comes down to it, if people need to utilize it, it will be the best. So the tech will speak for itself when it really matters. But I mean, until then, I guess it could matter for the price and pump and dump it. But for mass adoption, I don't really think the community really matters much when it comes to these, assets being utilized when it comes down to what they do.
Okay.
Oh, well, we lost them.
Yeah, I think Joel's having some connectivity issues. He's in a coffee shop right now, so hopefully he will rejoin us in a little bit. Okay, so while we're waiting for Joel, I just want to ask, so that's the utility aspect. Let's talk about the use case of blockchain, because payments is just one use case.
Yep.
And one area that I think you're much more knowledgeable than I am, and I would like your insights, is actually the use case of gaming on the blockchain. So who do you think is leading the pack right now when it comes to gaming on the blockchain?
Engine, which is crazy. It kind of came out of nowhere, but they partnered with Samsung. And recently they actually partnered with Microsoft. Even Microsoft, like, it's funny when you say, oh, they partnered with, and then, you see the partner never talks about the partnership. So it seems like a very one-sided relationship announcement. But even Microsoft is talking about these non-fungible tokens that they've created on the Ethereum blockchain with Engine. And Engine's been working with Samsung building their blockchain wallets and their new Samsung S10s and Note 10 things. And I'm really excited for what Engine's doing in the mainstream AAA gaming environment. Okay. I have my own collectible on Engine, by the way. So if you guys are watching and if you want one, bro, just I guess tweet me your Engine wallet and I'll send you guys some cool collectible NFTs.
A collectible. So when you say, is this like an in-game collectible? Like, what does that mean?
Well, no. So that's the cool thing about Engine is these NFTs just exist, and it's up to the developers to give them an in-game a use case, right? So my NFT may be utilized by some developer one day to be a race car in their game. So if you're holding my NFT in your wallet while playing the game, you may have access to a special car or maybe a sword in another game, stuff like that.
Forgive my ignorance, but what is NFT?
Non-fungible token.
Oh, okay.
So you can't have like half of a crypto kitty. You can only have one crypto kitty or none.
Okay, interesting. Well, we did have a question in the live chat with regards to gaming for you. And he said, I know this is Dash News, not Wax News, sister of the EOS chain, but ask him if trading gaming virtual assets is something that can take off by providing a marketplace?
I do. I'll take it one step farther. I think leasing in-game assets may actually be more lucrative than actually trading them. When you look at collectibles, people don't sell and buy them as much and as often as you would believe. Very few of them are actually purchased and held, and that is what gives the circulating supply their value on the market. You know, if one thing sells for X value, then it would, you know, say that the next one would sell at X or more. So you see a lot of collectibles being hoarded more so than hodled, right? They hoard them and keep them to themselves. I think that people will be able to capitalize on that hoarding, sentimental, nostalgic type value of having something like an NFT, say for Fortnite. You know, a lot of people that are growing up, this is going to be a nostalgic game to them. They're not going to want to give up those assets. So they're not going to want to sell them. So it actually may not be a good, lucrative, you know, market for buying and selling, but they will potentially say, I'll let you borrow my skin while you play the game, newcomer, but I want it back when you're done, and you got to give me a few, you know, cents on this microtransaction in order to rent it. So I think leasing these NFTs and in-game collectibles may be mostly, you know, the more side lucrative than trading them. That's my thought anyway.
And it's the in-game purchasing side. I'm not much of a mobile gamer or gamer these days, but I've had friends tell me that their nieces, nephews, sons, daughters are requesting this virtual currency in these games like Fortnite, Clash of Clans for these in-game purchases. But like, you know, Clash of Clans, I think it still is huge, but like,
yeah,
so we get new games and new trends coming all the time. But if the kids are requesting these tokens, this virtual currency for birthdays and Christmas presents, etc., but then they can't carry that over to other games to use to purchase, I think we need to establish a virtual in-game currency on a platform like Dash platform, hopefully, and then essentially have this whole network. So, you know, you can compete in tournaments, earn that virtual currency, and then if you want to switch over to a new game, you can then carry that over with you. And like you're saying, these in-game assets that you can unlock or trade, but just the virtual currency aspect as well for in-game purchases. Because right now, you know, we always hear stories of kids stealing their parents' credit cards and spending money on in-game purchases. And then you've got the credit card transaction fees and stuff as well, right? So I do think there is a distinct use case for this. But even more importantly, Ken, right? Because this is where I need your brain. This is where I need your insight. Because I think we're missing out on such a huge market. We talked about adoption, mass market, and onboarding people. If we want to increase that accessibility, I think we're ignoring the younger generation because we're seeing mobile gaming just explode right now. So like, how can we bring these people into crypto via gaming?
Well, you mentioned something interesting, like an oracle in a sense for these in-game assets. And I met a company, and I've had them on my podcast previously. I believe it's called Silicon Nexus, and they have this physical machine that basically brings like a Dave & Buster's feel and environment to these NFTs in gaming, where you can do something similar like that. Take this in-game asset or in-game currency and convert it to whatever on the next one. I believe it's called Silicon Nexus. I met them at the Chainwise conference by Crypto Crow, so they'll probably be listed on his, you know, website, or if you Google Chainwise whatever gaming. But what was the original question? I forgot because I mentioned them.
Well, we were just talking about trading in-game currencies, but like I think this is such a huge market. We're just looking.
For the kids. Sorry, that I totally did have something to say on that. As soon as you started, I was at World CryptoCon in Las Vegas, and Decent Bet, they did a tournament for Bitcoin. There was a Lightning, so it was Lightning Bitcoin. And there was like a $5,000 prize pool. And it was, you know, Joey Blackburn and me and a bunch of other Bitcoin people. And what they decided to do was it was at this eSports arena in Vegas. So like the same arena Ninja plays Fortnite in, I was on stage playing Fortnite for Bitcoin. And they decided to open the doors to the public and invite all these random kids that were walking by to come on in, play Fortnite, and kick all of our Bitcoin asses and not one Bitcoiner that I knew from the conference won. It was every winner of the prize pools that were paid out was a random kid that came in off the street and kicked all of our butts. And these kids got Bitcoin wallets on their phones. They got paid in crypto, and they all knew about it. They weren't like, what can I do with this? They're like, yeah, it's money. I'm going to spend it on the internet. That's where I spend all my money anyway.
I think this is such a huge industry. Esports, e-gaming. I read not too long ago that I forget the name of the e-gaming event on YouTube, but they live streamed it, and the audience that it achieved was greater than the Super Bowl and the NBA finals, combined.
Yeah, League of Legends is bigger than the Super Bowl. It's crazy.
And I think we're really missing out here on a potential market. Like, I was doing a bit of research, and I was talking to someone that wanted to do a proposal a little while ago that didn't come to fruition, but he was really big into Clash of Clans, and he was talking about these YouTubers that have millions of subscribers, and basically they just do these Clash of Clans tournaments and basically stream them. And then I forget the name of the gaming studio that created Clash of Clans, but like they give them prizes for people to win the tournaments. And I was just like, oh, okay, what kind of prizes they're giving away? And they're like, yeah, like t-shirts. Yeah, there are millions of subscribers, tens of thousands of viewers per these videos. And I'm just like, why aren't we giving like cryptocurrency for these prizes? So you mentioned tournaments and these e-gamers, and I just think it's such a huge growing.
Splinterlands has tournaments. They've already given away over $80,000 in the past year in tournament prize money.
Wow. So like, is this one of these things where people playing individually, or are they playing in teams? I see these things on
It's
stage.
an individual trading card game like Magic the Gathering, and you play in a bracket. So it's the best out of however many brackets there are. But it's free to play. It doesn't cost anything. And you can even buy the cards with PayPal. So they don't force you to buy anything with crypto. You can. So it's just like if people play Pokemon online or Magic the Gathering online, you can play this game very similar. Don't even have to know you're using crypto, but even playing the game, you're rewarded in an in-game asset that's actually trading on the exchange. And I just did a thing maybe a week ago. I've been playing the game for, like I said, about a year. And I just sold the in-game asset currency, and it was like $150 I accumulated. And it's not, that much over the year, but that's US. If that was any third world gamer, they'd be pretty damn happy they had $150 in value in a year.
So there's another aspect of this as well, which I think has gone largely ignored. So we've talked about the streaming aspect of people watching games and people playing the games at home and in tournaments. But we're seeing Twitch and DLive and other platforms where we've actually got the streamers that are showing this. And I'll just focus on Twitch for now, because I think they're kind of like
DLive got PewDiePie, so you might want to start looking at DLive. They literally got the biggest YouTube streamer in the world to stream on their platform.
So they've got all these people, all this traffic being funneled in, watching Twitch, DLive, all these gaming streamers. And of course, within Twitch, owned by Amazon, you can pay $5 a month, and then you get like special emojis or whatever that streamer has. But you're essentially donating. And up until recently, you couldn't really use crypto to tip those people. But I became, someone notified me recently, I think it was a solution called OneUp. And it's a solution that you can integrate into OBS, which is an open source software I know you're familiar with, but just for the viewers and listeners. So it's a solution that they use on multiple platforms to broadcast, where you can actually get donations, and then you'll get a notification on your screen saying you got a tip after one confirmation.
Send me that in my DMs immediately. What was that called again?
It's called OneUp.
OneUp. That needs to be known more. That is amazing.
I tested it out, and the beautiful thing about Dash is, Ken, is it works with just one transaction, one confirmation within Dash. So once it gets one confirmation, it just pops up. So I actually tested that out with someone. So I'll have to send you the link afterwards. I believe there's another solution out there, but it works with OBS. So basically, all streamers, I think the majority are using that. They're all using different solutions, whether it's restream or whatever.
Yeah,
but
I just went to Float. I went to float.app recently, and basically you could set up your stream or your social media presence there, and you could set up a subscription model, sort of like a Patreon. So I have subscribers that subscribe to my Float, and it's $1 a month in Bitcoin, and you could set your price at whatever for a subscription, and basically they get access to tweets or whatever. It's not really a tweet. It's a post that I make on Float that most people can't see unless they are subscribed. And it's just another way to sort of, monetize your content in that way. And I live stream on Float, and the super chats are all Bitcoin. So, like YouTube, if you were to get a super chat, they steal 30%.
Okay. Well, Ken, I'm just going to send you the link to that one up in the chat. And yeah, it's pretty good. I've tested it out. Someone set it up. So Cine, if you're watching, I'm sure you're going to be pretty excited.
Oh, I'm adding that to my live stream immediately. I've been waiting for something like this.
Yeah, well, it says they work with Twitch, YouTube, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, and it utilizes.
Oh wow, Stream Elements. That's pretty interesting now. Because that means you could have like different emojis pop up that say thank you and stuff.
That's it. So people, when they donate, they give you a message and it shows up on the screen. So they're actually incentivizing your viewers to donate.
Gamifying the interaction, exactly.
Yeah. So like I've often thought, you used to get the, there was like Dash Ducks and all this sort of thing on Twitch. I'm sure you've seen this already.
Yeah.
But you can get those like gumball machines that people can donate, and you can get.
I have one right there. It's the Izeta candy bowl.
Yes, that's it. And have you seen the plug socket they do as well? I've always thought about getting like a Stay Dashy light, and then when someone does a donation while I'm watching it, like the lights flash or something.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I mean, there's so much stuff you can do, right? But I do think
that's the power of microtransactions, man, and that's just the tip of the iceberg.
And I really do think this angle is really important, because when we look at Twitch and some of these streamers, they list their sponsors, their gaming hardware, they use their Amazon affiliates, but in their sponsorships as well. But of course, you can get a lot of there's a lot of voucher services that use crypto as well, right? So I think it actually would be a good thing for the streamers to encourage their audience to actually use crypto and receive donations, because then they're not actually, because Twitch takes a big chunk of those donations away, right? So yeah. I'm actually surprised that it hasn't been, they're allowed to do it, but I'm guessing as they're using OBS, like they can't prevent it.
Well, it's not directly through their channel. It's just the overlay. I guess at some point they could get in their terms and services where if you're caught doing this, you could probably lose your platform and become deplatformed. And this happens. You see certain platforms, I heard, if you stream on Mixer, I don't think like once you're like, or even Twitch, if you're like a Twitch partner, you can't stream on multiple platforms simultaneously because that platform owns your content. So that could become an issue if you're not even allowed to multi-stream, and then eventually you become, somebody who's broken a terms and service that wasn't grandfathered. So your previous streams, you were accepting these Dash tips, and now you lost your whole channel and you don't even have a backup because you weren't allowed to have a backup to begin with. It starts to get a problem for these content creators, and the cannabis industry saw it the most. And because of the COPA, YouTube Child Protection Act that just went into play, a lot of entertainment content creators, people that like review Toy Story movies or whatever, just make funny videos, but they're not centered or made for children. But because it could be, they're leaving YouTube because they could face $40,000 fines per video if they make a video that is created for a kid, but they forgot to say that it was, or whatever. So it's I think that content creators are now more incentivized to start finding other means, and that's why you saw Ninja. He left Twitch, he went to Mixer. PewDiePie leaving YouTube, going to DLive. It's starting to happen now at this is like the tipping point, I think, for like the mainstream content creators. And what we've seen, if you kind of look at what the adult industry kind of leads the way in a lot of ways for everything, the adult industry content creators decided to create their own platforms, their own websites, and they became their own platform. Like we want to say, be your own bank. Well, you could be your own platform too. And they've learned how to, figure out their own payment processing. And a lot of these adult content creators that did create their own platforms utilize cryptocurrency because they have no other gateways. And I think that could be the gamers' potential future as well, where we see like Twitch not have anybody because Ninja decided, screw all of you, I'm going to create ninja.com. I'll stream on here. I got followers on whatever. They'll come here and watch me, and I could get my own ads and do this all on my own. And I don't need Visa or PayPal. I can accept Dash. And I think that's the inevitable evolution that we're going to see with these content creators. And you could look back at the history and see where people have gone with independent content.
I agree. Necessity is the greatest creator. And I do also agree in terms of certain technology, the adult entertainment industry has helped pioneer. I mean, they really pushed the envelope for the streaming.
But that's because they're pushed into a corner, and evolution doesn't occur unless you're under pressure. If you're complacent and if you're comfortable, you don't evolve. And the adult industry has met most hardship, has been under the most pressure, and better, for a lack of a better terminology, their shit has turned into a diamond of an industry that was never projected to be $1 trillion industry. But now look at it. 50 years ago, people laughed at the adult industry and nobody would have invested. Now, billions of dollars flow through it every day.
Yeah, and I am interested in this. I've not tried it myself, but if there's anyone in the live chat that doesn't mind doxing themselves, on Pornhub via Puma Pay, apparently they're accepting Dash payments.
I have a Pornhub account. Don't Google me on it or whatever, but they do accept. I do earn crypto when people do view my video because I did upload an adult content video. It is out there. It's on Pornhub, but I do earn crypto from it.
Yeah, this was a revelation that you did tell me, when we first got to know each other a while ago about that. And I know some people have had a few surprises about your certain activities. Someone's brought something up in the live chat, and I don't want you to think that I've misled you at all, but they have raised a very valid point. So I was talking about the 1UP coin solution for streaming, and there is a downside to it, which I don't think you're probably going to like. And that is, at the moment, that it relies on Coinbase as its custodian solution. So basically, it connects to your Coinbase account. And I know in the past you've been quite vocal about Coinbase. Not your keys, not your crypto. So I don't know if
Coinbase is a total scam. And what's his name? Brian Armstrong should be in prison. End of story. But besides that, I wonder why they're working with Coinbase. Are they using the Coinbase payments plugin?
I think they're using their API.
That's probably what they're. Shit, I should get in touch with the 1UP, and Monarch has one, and you could just have it sent to any address.
Interesting. Okay, so wow, I thought it was interesting. We're talking about use cases in gaming and into the adult entertainment industry. Of course, it's one of the oldest industries in the world, right? I guess.
Right.
What's going on with you right now? Because you mentioned Bitcoin Cash, and I really didn't expect you to take this turn, but I'm fascinated. So, don't reveal all your holdings, but what projects are you interested in right now? You mentioned Divi, which I don't really know much about, if I'm honest. All I know is it's a masternode coin, but I mean, what are your top 5 holdings now, for example?
Well, it is Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Dash. What else is up there? I'm honestly not holding much Ethereum right now. Like I told people, I reallocated those ETH holdings into other assets until I feel confident enough in this update, because an update like this isn't to be taken lightly with the amount of market cap and capital involved in anything going wrong. And I know everyone's, hey, whatever, if something goes wrong, there could be a rollback. I wouldn't hold your breath on a rollback at this point in time with the amount of institutional backers the Ethereum Foundation has. It's a lot of suit and tie pressure they're under. So I wouldn't expect that. If something goes wrong, you're going to have to eat it. So just get ready for that. And if not, yay. But I'll just buy those coins back and whatever. Other than that, like I mentioned, Divi, Rapids. I was really interested in Rapids early on because they were doing gaming stuff, but I've kind of fell off of what they're doing. They're not moving as fast as I was expecting. And actually, maybe one of the smaller ones that I don't mention much is Steam. I really like Steam, and I don't think I give it enough credit publicly, but I mean, it's super fast. And just it works, and the game I play is literally built on their blockchain. So
whoa, let me stop you there, because I was discussing Steam on a recent podcast with none other than Heidi, aka Crypto Tips or Blockchain Chick on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
And she really started off on Steam as well with Heidi Travels, right? But we was talking about Steam, how it was a fantastic platform and a great onboarding tool because at one point they had 3 million users, right? And being able to upload content was fantastic. But something happened along the line where the economic model of it kind of broke. I was using DTube for quite a while to upload videos, but then for some reason that platform just broke completely. I don't know what happened there. I know it was utilizing IPFS, but it just stopped working for me. DLive I've not really dabbled in, but that looks like it seems to be really taking off. Is it?
Yeah, it's very high quality. Never had any issues with DLive.
So you're saying you're still supportive of Steam, but so in terms of the platform and usability, but what about Steam in terms of the price and the token in itself?
Well, actually, I don't have Steam itself. I have the assets, the cards that are basically backed by Steam, right? Like, so they're Steam assets. So they're on the Steam blockchain. So the cards that I have, I look at in Steam value, basically, and I can sell them instantly on the exchange for Steam, which I do it sometimes to just get some money or whatever, or because I have multiple cards, stuff to that effect. I've used Steam to send transactions actually very rarely to people that wanted to accept. So like block trades. So somebody was like, hey, send me Bitcoin. And I'm like, well, that's going to be a little expensive on the fees and it might take a while. So I was like, just go to block trades, send me this receiving address for the Steam, give them your receiving address for the Bitcoin. I'll send them Steam, you'll receive Bitcoin. So basically I've used it in that aspect as well. But yeah, I don't really look at the price of anything and care. I really don't think like the price of whatever doesn't matter to me, period. It's just the utility aspect of it and how I use it. So like for Dash, for instance, I use Dash, but I use it very specifically for very private transactions. That's why I don't mention it all the damn time, because it's the only time I do a private transaction is when I'm using Dash. Why would I want to publicly talk about all my private transaction lifestyle? But I do have those instances where I'm engaging with people and I'm keeping it private intentionally. And that's why I use Dash. Other instances, I'm engaging with blockchain protocols. So I'll have like EOS for my Sense Chat. I use Sense Chat because it's cool, but not because it's going to make me money or anything.
So this is cool. I like talking about use cases and utility. And, you're an interesting guy. You've got many interests and hobbies. Crypto, we spoke about gaming, porn. I mean, it's not for everyone, but I mean, it's there. And then there is one other interest that you're very passionate about, and that's cannabis. And that's a big use case, right, for crypto.
Yeah, shout out to Alt36.
Yeah, so I don't know how in the loop you are, but if you could buy cannabis with crypto, would you?
Absolutely. And I feel like the incentive is on both sides of that instead of it being a one-sided incentive. I have the incentive to buy with crypto rather than my fiat, and the businesses have the incentive to accept it rather than fiat.
Excellent. Well, I don't know how much you know. I'm currently under a gagging order, but Kenn, make sure you watch the open house event on tomorrow, Saturday. It's going to be live streamed on YouTube for Dash Evolution, but I think there's going to be a few other announcements as well. And I know we've spoken in the past about Alt36 and their solution of Dash. It feels like it has been a long time coming. It's been a bit of a roller coaster, but there is a pretty good announcement coming up shortly. I'm hoping something might go out tomorrow. If not, it'll be early.
I've been
next
patient
week.
with cannabis and crypto conversions, because most people don't know. A lot of people will say that, the crypto industry or whatever, it's not an industry. We're not an industry yet. We're not even at industry level yet. And the cannabis market has just barely, I would say, became an industry. It happened really fast. Congrats to them. But they're barely at industry level standards. They're still unregulated at some points, and it's still a form of a Wild West environment for investors and for businesses in that industry. So until it's industrialized, until it is a full industry, teetering on that skeptical line of another up and coming industry like crypto it's going to take time to see those links intertwine. But once they are, it'll be a permanent link. And I think as the cannabis community becomes an industry, with the crypto community becoming an industry, they're raising each other up equally by necessity and by use case, by needing it and by being there for them. And that, like, the federal banking law issues, the financial honeypot issues. I mean, most I've gone to dispensaries where they don't want you to bring cash, and they can only accept cash. And so they'll tell you, you can bring your money in, whatever, you can top up this card. So it's like a gift card for the dispensary. So you'll go there, you'll give them $500, and that will be whatever you spend throughout your month. So you're not a walking honeypot. A lot of people don't realize is when you're walking into a dispensary, everybody knows, and that's including the needy, the malicious, those that bad actors, that you have cash in your pocket on your way into that business, because there's no other way for you to do business with them. And that's scary.
So these dispensaries, if they do choose to accept Dash via Alt 36, as we have exclusivity agreement with them, it's not just a novelty. You're saying it's actually providing a real solution, because you're actually giving us insight. And one thing I didn't understand is that the cannabis industry, there's a trend and it's getting bigger and bigger, right? And it's not just physical locations. Now there's all these online stores as well. And
yeah,
now
they
I'm
deliver.
Told,
they
now
deliver.
I'm told they deliver. Yeah.
What?
It's insane.
I had weed delivered to my hotel room, and it was like Chinese food or pizza. It was amazing.
Wow. So
I mean, I've had it done before, but it was legal this time.
I feel like next week you're going to be hitting my DMs up like crazy, because I think there's some pretty good news going. It's going to rock your world. It's going to blow you away.
Man. I mean, because like the cannabis industry needs it more than the crypto industry needs it. You know, people may expect a crypto pump from this, and I actually think it might be the opposite. I think the cannabis industry will see a pump, because now they're being more enabled to do business in a speed that they were not really used to. The cannabis industry has been moving at a pace much slower than most business industries because of their issues with the financial system. So once those issues are solved, they'll be able to move much quicker. Look at how fast the cannabis has grown as an industry right now. And imagine if they didn't have those hurdles by not being able to have a banking account. Wow. Like, just takes right off. So, and then that will take off for the crypto community as well as a side effect. But I don't think it'll be the first result. I think the cannabis industry will benefit so much. I don't know if you follow cannabis stocks, but right now they're not doing too great. And I called this. I saw the cannabis market, and I was like, everyone's saying Bitcoin's in a bubble. The cannabis market is in a bubble. And that was because
I watched South Park and Integrity Farms.
Yes, well, they nailed it with MedMen being a scam. I love that they called them out. That was so nice, man. That was like, because I looked into MedMed and they ruined their investors, man. They just screwed everybody over.
So, okay, there's so much I would love to say, because there's some really cool announcements coming up with Dash. Just even, I thought just building up to Saturday and the open house event with Dash Evolution, because I've been waiting since 2015 for this. And of course, now with Dash Platform and essentially a side chain. So if you're not up to speed with Dash, Ken, there's going to be lots of cool stuff tomorrow. So on the official Dash YouTube channel, there is the open house event live stream.
I'll be in the chat watching live.
Yeah, it's gonna start 1 p.m. MST time. I think that stands for Mountain Standard Time, Phoenix, Arizona.
I just thought about it. So I was gonna say I'll send you a one-up chat, but I guess they can't, because you can't use Dash because they use Coinbase.
That Omar's going to be there as well. I think he's going to be doing a live stream and some interviews.
Oh, cool.
Also crypto news for those that didn't get that Omar reference, Omar Bam. And you guys are good buddies as well, right? It's a tight circle, isn't it?
Yeah, man. Omar was one of the first people that really got me into and able to understand a lot of this and guided my rabbit hole journey at first.
Excellent. Well, yeah, make sure you definitely check that out tomorrow.
It's 4:20. Do you mind?
No, yeah, mate, it's all good. I think people are already know, and plus it's kind of in the title, right? So, but yeah, so definitely check that out. And also as well, this was kind of an unexpected announcement because the real focus was meant to be on Dash platform, but Ryan Taylor is going to be giving he's been researching.
I met him in Spain.
In all places.
Right.
But like he's going to be giving a presentation on research. He's been looking at the economics of Dash, and he's going to be presenting his findings of how he believes he can make Dash a much better store of value, which is kind of fascinating. I'm interested to see what the data and the insights to support whatever it is he has to say and present. But
at an institutional level, I believe it is with the masternode system. And I mean, I've always looked at Dash as an institutional solution, and Bitcoin or something being an individual solution. And I think people need to see the difference between institutional and individual solutions and the services they provide. And just because something isn't so much for an individual doesn't mean it doesn't serve a purpose. But I really, truly do believe Dash is going to be like an institutional, industrial currency because of the optional privacy aspect of it. A lot of people fail to realize that.
Yeah, I agree. And it's only when people actually really start going to use it. I mean, a lot of people get scared by the private send name, but it's digital cash. It's the private send is the digital cash aspect. That is the fungibility, the magical word. Like if I go out on the street and I give someone a tenner, it's the same as private send, right? It's just the digital cash aspect. You don't get that. It's exactly the same. So if you're going to demonize private send, you're demonizing physical cash as well.
Ooh, I could play tinfoil hat devil's advocate and tell you it's not the same, because if I hand you a tenner and you go to pay for that at the store with the same tenner, I could see that was from a bank robbery. So I could be like, well, that's that came from, who gave you that, blah, 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 blah. If you were to do that with Dash, you'd never really know if that was Dash from the bank robbery. So it's even better.
Right. Well, I'm not going to condone it in those.
No, well, I was on Adam Meister's podcast earlier, and we were talking about how the Upbit hack has all these exchanges claiming that they will freeze any Bitcoin from that hack that enters their exchange. And everyone's like applauding the exchanges that are freezing this stolen Bitcoin. And I'm like, well, that's anti-Bitcoin. What are you guys doing? This is how they're trying to centralize Bitcoin. Yeah. So if you were to buy Bitcoin OTC peer-to-peer directly from a person, there's a chance that it could be Bitcoin that was stolen from this exchange. And then when you send it to Binance to trade it for Dash, it's going to be stolen because you accepted Bitcoin. Now they're trying to this is the false flag main agenda. They're trying to scare people from being peer-to-peer, and they want you to trust these appointed centralized deities like Coinbase. Because if you don't buy your Bitcoin from Coinbase, it could be stolen or dirty Bitcoin, and it will get frozen if you try to use it on a centralized exchange.
Yeah, but there's people keep talking about these decentralized exchanges, but there's not a lot of options out there. I mean, people,
stop trading. That's the option. Stop. I mean, because traders don't deserve a platform. Trading shouldn't occur. It's only there for profitable reasons. It's not serving any other purpose, providing any positiveness to life itself by being an act, by being able to trade these currencies outside of selfish greed and profitability. If you want to trade, then go peer-to-peer. Put out a tweet. I have 10 Dash. I want some Bitcoin. Who wants to buy it? That is how it should be traded. It shouldn't be traded with these buy orders, sell orders, and we shouldn't feel bad for the people that contribute to these exchanges and then get burnt for trying to make fiat off of our crypto. It's currency appropriation is what's happening. They're coming into our community, taking advantage of our currency to make more of their currency. They're dumping us. They're dumping on us, and we feel bad for them when they get burnt. I don't feel bad for Digibyte for being delisted from Poloniex. I hope other coins decide to never get listed on Poloniex and pay that listing fee.
Yeah, it's insane. You just reminded me of something I used to, because I was really big Silverbug before I got into crypto. And one of the things that always perplexed me, which you just kind of jogged my memory about, is in America, you've got the US Silver Eagles, right? $1. And they're created by the US Mint. But over here in the UK, if I go to a bullion dealer, a coin shop, they will sell that US Eagle with 20% VAT, and my government profiteers from it. And of course, they had a premium for themselves. So my government is taxing your currency and profiteering from it. And it's kind of the same thing with exchanges. You're right. It's money. It's currency. And although they're helping facilitate, you don't necessarily have to do it. Now, of course, it's online. There are ways. Like, my heart was broken because I actually used to really love local Bitcoins. At one point in time, it was really good. You got burnt on local Bitcoins, right? I think you got caught out.
There's local Bitcoins used to be great till they did the KYC stuff, and I understand. I think there was a case, and actually it was in Philly, where somebody got busted, and it kind of started the whole downward spiral of local Bitcoins, because they were almost liable for the facilitation of that transaction that was used to buy drugs. So it started to get real sketchy, and it seemed again like one of those false flag events where the government just was like, hey, how do we screw them over? Oh, we'll just do this on their platform and then blame them for letting us do it. And that's sort of how I feel like they treated local Bitcoins. But yeah, same thing, with Poloniex. As soon as Circle, Goldman Sachs acquired Poloniex, they did a mandatory KYC issuance and froze everybody's accounts until they submitted KYC. They stole everybody's money. And there's still people that were trading on that exchange that live in a place in the world where they can never submit KYC because they don't have it.
Yeah, it's insane. I used to tell people, look, if you don't want to do KYC, AML on exchanges, just find an ATM. But now a lot of these ATMs, even though they're charging 10, 12% fees at times, although it is getting more competitive now, the more ATMs come about, but even they now are requesting KYC, AML on certain thresholds, which is crazy, right?
Well, that's why meetups are important. I feel like people need to realize that going to a meetup is your only responsibility in crypto. Means more than tweeting. It means more than sharing. It means more being there in person to help on-ramp somebody at a local meetup is the most powerful thing any individual can do to contribute to mass adoption on that level. And that's where you can create these OTC marketplaces. I was on the podcast right before this with Adam Meister, and they were asking me, how do you use crypto to pay for everything when you're going to lose money on all these, fees? And I'm like, well, I make money using crypto as money because somebody's always willing to buy it OTC, and I could charge a small premium because they're not submitting any KYC with me, and that's worth it to them. And if I'm buying it, there's always somebody that wants to sell it without going through a KYC exchange like Coinbase. So they'll sell it to me at a discounted rate. So I could buy low and sell high OTC, and that's peer-to-peer trading. And that's sort of how I use it to survive.
Okay, so there's a great comment in the chat. I do agree with everything you say, Ken. I love talking to you. We can go on for hours.
Sorry, I talk a lot.
No. We haven't caught up for a long time. So, I mean, I'm sure we can go for hours, but we will wrap up soon, I promise. But there was a good...
I'm not in a rush.
There's a good point here. They're saying, but P2P is not efficient enough for volume and price discovery. Now, if you think how CoinMarketCap works, obviously it's looking at exchanges and volumes. So I've always said CoinMarketCap is a fake measurement of success. Because of this, because there's a lot of OTC trading that happens behind the scenes that doesn't get funneled through CoinMarketCap as well, which a lot of people seem to forget about.
And a lot of the to argue their point, a lot of that reflection is false volume anyway. So the price of Bitcoin that you're seeing reflected on CoinMarketCap is fake, because there's fake volume behind it on all the exchanges it's pulling its data from. So it really doesn't matter anyway if you really want to get down to like the true essence of its value at that level.
So how do we get fair market value then?
Stop pairing it to fiat. The market value doesn't matter. One Bitcoin or one Dash is one Dash, right? So if the price is in that currency, it doesn't matter if it's not paired to the US dollar in that sense of commerce, then it doesn't need that market side, right? Like a lot of people platforms are building these fiat off and on ramp gateways. And I think by the time that they're necessary, stable coins will create a null and void use case for these fiat off and on ramps.
I like that point of view, but I do think we're a long way from it. In fact, I penned a term for it. I call it the dinosaur tipping point. So I call it dinosaur bankster money, dinosaur paper money. So that the dinosaur tipping point is essentially when people stop valuing crypto in regards to fiat currencies, because it's essentially, it's got to that stage where it's not even deemed valuable anymore in fiat, and crypto runs the royal land. But I think we're a long way off that.
Fiat's an unfair pairing for crypto in general. It's not even a fair pairing because of its the creation and supply issuance of it as an asset, as a fiat, as what it is. So the fact that you have to put proof of work into these assets, and you can use a print or control print button to create something to buy that thing that just caused the consumption of economic resource, energy, and computational power, and all. It's fake. It's bullshit. It's like me walking into your business and you have a restaurant and I write on a napkin bajillion Kenn dollars and I can eat whatever the fuck I want. And that's what's happening when we let the government, pair Bitcoin to US dollar. They can print as much of these dollars as they want to buy our precious crypto. And that's not fair. If we want a fair market value pairing, then stop looking at BTC to USD and look at it to gold. Done. Delete the US dollar from your portfolio's pairing and look at it to gold, or look at it to silver. These other currency assets that actually have the same type of scarceability and proof of work into their production.
Yeah, we need like a new rating or metric system that values cryptocurrencies based on their utility, or metrics based on the volume, the data transactions, active addresses, everything.
Transaction speeds, mining fees are earned.
Yeah, exactly.
Active nodes, there's so many different metrics that actually should go into what it's a market cap is evaluated at. But if people think that when you go to CoinMarketCap and you're getting a true essence of what something's worth, you're a sheep. And if you think you're not, they really got you. You think that you took the red pill and you're still wide asleep.
Man, what's it going to take though, Ken? Like, being serious, because like I agree with what you've said about Bitcoin today, but there's still the dominant player. They're leading the pack, right? So until I think there's a bull market, whenever that is, and then we see the fees and the mempool like fell up, really fill up. So
the same thing that Joel and me went through, then the mainstream has to go through the same process. Everyone, you're going to see Bitcoin come in and Bitcoin go out potentially, because the merchants that adopt it, the individuals that adopt it, because of its legacy, because of its clout, because of it is way more widely accepted. I know Dash has Venezuela all wrapped up, but Bitcoin worldwide is widely more accepted than any altcoin that exists. And that's why it will be first to market when it comes to mass adoption. But that could also be its downfall. Like you said, the increase in the mempool and the transaction fees and pending confirmations. And this could be one of its best, like people, and I've been saying this forever, everybody wants Walmart to use Bitcoin. That would kill Bitcoin. Right now, today, if Walmart started saying we accept it, that would kill it, because it would cost so much and take too long for the confirmations. You'd have a line of people waiting at checkout for their receipt to print. And so that would be an issue. So I think that as merchants adopt Bitcoin, which they will first, they will go through the same hardships I recently have had to come to the conclusions of, and Joel went through, where it works, it serves a great purpose, but it's too expensive at this level as a utility. Store of value, fine, but that's not what merchants are in this for. They're in it for the utility aspect. So this may be their Trojan horse life lesson to what's next. A stable coin, Bitcoin, what's next?
There's a question for you in the chat, and I feel like you're qualified to answer this, but don't feel pressured to if you don't want to. Can Kenn talk about dark market usage with BTC, with mixing, and how that might help give it utility?
Absolutely. I can keep it on a positive legal note for sure, but you can fill in the blanks where you want. But seriously, though, there's places in the world that can't get medicine, can't get drugs. It's hard to get antibiotics and things like that. And the deep web, dark web, whatever you want to call it, it serves a purpose for when a government is not serving its citizens well by controlling the internet. They have a resource like Bitcoin is to their currency. They have the deep web to their internet, and you could see a huge use case for cryptocurrency in that aspect of just legal drugs, that are just locally or regionally illegal. Or people in America, they travel to Canada all the time to get medicine because it's cheaper there. Otherwise, they couldn't afford their cancer medications. If you could introduce them to the deep web, the people that have cancer that are traveling across the country to physically smuggle, life altering drugs that they need to stay alive or have a quality of life, but otherwise are financially out of reach in their own country, show them that, it could be a lot easier to obtain these pharmaceuticals by utilizing a cryptocurrency and a deep web platform. And that's what I always really liked about Silk Road. It was a safe place to get things outside of, drugs and guns or whatever people really made it out to be. But it was a lot more for like actual pharmaceuticals as well. People were very supportive for like birth control, Plan B, antibiotics, and things to that effect.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. It reminds me in late 2017. I know seemed like a long time ago for some people, but at that time there was a tumbling service, as they were referred to then, called a BitMixer, and that was the most popular one for Bitcoin, and it shut down. And I recall that there was a big post thread on the Bitcoin Talk forums, and the interesting thing about that was they gave a notice that they were shutting down, but they advised the people that used their service to use Dash or Zero Cash. They didn't mention Monero, which was, I thought at the time, was a bit bizarre, but at the same time it was interesting. Now we're seeing, actually, with Bitcoin Cash, there are some mixing services as well that was kind of utilize.
Well, Bitcoin has CoinJoin.
Yep, but it's not a protocol level though. So you're using a third party, which is that's the advantage of Dash, right? Because it's at the protocol level.
Yes.
But hang on, I've got, even though I'm in Dash, I'm completely honest. And when you look at the data and the metrics, only 1% of the transactions are actually private send transactions. Most people are just sending transactions normally. So, but we know Dash is being used in terms of transactions and utility. Just today, I published the chart about active wallets on Android devices in Venezuela, and it's had I think it was like 420% increase just in that alone. Like last month, it was 27%. So people are using it, but they're not using the private
cost. Is it because it may be a cost more to send a private transaction, and they may not find that fee is worth the privacy, and that conclusion may change as regulations and things start to be more, I think, enforced, as governments feel their currencies are more threatened, especially in Venezuela. What really made me think of it was maybe they can't afford the opt into that, because it is a little bit expensive, especially for them in that instance. And at the moment, maybe the risk reward for that isn't at that point. But if they were to see some scrutiny for using Dash, and maybe like Dash is illegal, well, we still have to freaking use it. It worked. Like that's what they're using, obviously. Then you would see that I think that private would pick up. So I think people aren't misusing it, which is great. And I think that when the time comes, that option that it has there for them, it will be utilized.
I agree. And I think you raised some good points. And there is a reasoning for that, especially in terms of Venezuela. In Venezuela, we know that over half of the population are using what's termed as dumb phones, not smartphones, right? And to utilize mixing, you need to use the QT wallet on a desktop laptop, which most people may not have access to, right? So if you're using a mobile device, and like I said, the chart was for the Android Dash Wallet app, and you cannot mix and send private send on the official Dash wallet on the mobile device yet. So
somebody's going to make an SMS private send.
So I'm thinking, and encrypted messaging as well. I mean, there's all different angles that we can go. I don't want to let too many cats out of the bag. But what I'm saying is, I actually think it's from a utility aspect. Look, if I'm shopping online from home and I'm using my QT wallet, of course, I mix my coins in there, and of course, I can send private send. But if I'm out on the street and I've got my phone with me, I can mix my coins on my laptop or PC and send them to my mobile wallet, and I know they're mixed, of course. But that's preparation. But in an ideal world, but the problem is, up until this point, if you're mixing on your phone, then it's going to drain all your battery power, right? And it's just going to be a nightmare because it's like going to be an ongoing process. So I'm sure there are going to be some solutions proposed sooner rather than later. But I think it's a utility aspect in terms of why the transactions only makes like up for 1%.
That makes sense.
And especially in terms of Venezuela. And like, it's interesting because we hear about confiscation of gold and possessions where people trying to leave the borders of Venezuela. So, it just shows you remittances is one of the biggest use cases, I think, worldwide for cryptocurrency in terms of borderlessness. When we just look at what's happening around the world right now, Hong Kong, things, everything, like you've got to be really, so like just being able to send money everywhere. And like, if I jump on a plane to see you now, I can technically, or if I had like an Edge wallet, I could delete my Edge wallet on my phone and then get off the plane, go through customs, and then put the app back on my phone and choose the username and password. I used Edge as an example because they got the username and password. I don't have to remember the 24 seed, which I know is cumbersome for most people. However, tomorrow you will see Dash Pay usernames in action. And the great thing is that's going to act as in like an account and a profile, and that will carry across from multiple devices, logging in with your, your profile picture. Yeah, it's going to be like, this is the whole beautiful thing about this Dash platform, decentralized app ecosystem, because essentially once you've got that account, it's like a profile and you carry that around. So it's going to be like one login. So when you log into a lot of online services now, Spotify, Netflix, you can log in via email, or you can log in via Facebook or Google. You could just use your Dash Pay account and it will carry across your contact list, your transaction. You're just going to have it's going to be like a passport. And essentially we're going to be building out. So think of it as kind of like a internet 3.0, because we're going to have a decentralized DNS. So
I like the internet passport concept. That's convenient. Yeah, just like one login, because like every month we're seeing another exchange or legacy-based system hacked and all the details leaked out. So I think this is going to be such a great onboarding tool, because the entry to barrier on crypto in these cryptographic addresses still isn't a palatable experience for most people in the main street. We need to deliver a PayPal, Venmo-like experience. Is there any chance that this is utilizing Edge Wallet's API? Because I know that they offer like a login with Edge option for platforms as well.
This is all going to be protocol based. So this is going to be Dash. I mean, this is like, you have to watch tomorrow. It's going to blow your mind. Like I said, I've been waiting since 2015 for this. So it's been a long time in the making, but I'm so excited. And I think people are really going to be blown away tomorrow. So Evo testnet starts at the end of December. So one of the greatest things about Dash is we have an amazing community. But in terms of development, although it's open source, it's really the Dash Core group funded by the treasury that has led the development. Now Dash Platform's going to be out there. We've opened up a decentralized API. And in terms of decentralized apps like you've seen on EOS and everything else, we're going to get all these community developers to build on Evolution Dash Platform. So when people say, oh, what's Dash Evolution going to look like? You can't say what it's going to look like, because it's dependent on what people build in it. It could be social media networks. It could be games. We spoke about
so
it could be
you
supply
guys should
chains.
Reach out to Splinterlands. They actually built on top of Tron, so I'm sure they would be interested in building on top of Dash.
Yeah, I think there's going to be so many opportunities in terms of hackathons, gaming tournaments. It's funny you mentioned Walmart, because they were in the news not too long ago, because I think they're looking to utilize the IBM blockchain, right, in terms of supply. I don't know what's going on quite there.
Did you see what I did to IBM at the consensus?
No. Tell me.
I tweeted it out. There's a video of me hacking their computer at the booth to mine Bitcoin directly to my wallet.
Oh, my God.
IBM left their computer unlocked, so I installed the miner.
How do they let you in these events? I mean,
They don't. I sneak into a lot of them.
How you get these passes and everything else? I mean, there's always a crazy story like behind them, and rightfully so. You do call people out. I mean, when I said you were coming on earlier, I think on Discord, everyone's like, "Oh my god, that's the guy that calls out the scammers." You know.
I have two pretty well-known ones and a few others not so well renowned. But yeah, the most recent was that York Malt character who says he's the Bitcoin co-founder.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really aware of him until you highlighted him. But then all these people came out the woodwork saying how in Germany he's trying to take money off people, and he's claiming, didn't he claim to have like, how many Bitcoin did he claim?
He said he had 250,000 Bitcoin, but then he posted a video of him proving that he had 400,000 Bitcoin by displaying a video while in the video of him unlocking a wallet. Yeah. So he had like held up a laptop, and on that laptop was another video playing of him, and he was like a billionaire, you know?
Yeah, and I think the most unpalatable thing was claiming to be the co-founder of Bitcoin. I mean, that's pretty rich.
Yeah, and he perpetuates it on stages and on his business card. And like you said, you never heard of him, and a lot of prominent people in the industry never heard of him. But unfortunately, he gains the clout of being somebody he's not and uses it as credibility in the audience. And he scams attendees, for his Bitcoin pension plan, his Satoshi school, and all this other crap that he's doing. And, he still gets speaking spots on stages at events, and it's just baffling.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Ken, I could talk to you for hours, and I'm hoping to do so in the after party after the podcast, which you're welcome to join. But like, let's plug you. So social media, you're at Kenn Bosak, right? But you're also a streamer, and you're streaming lots of gaming content. You're doing a podcast now, aren't you? Or something like that?
Yeah, I pretty much do it every day from 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern. So noon Eastern, pretty much I try to do it every single day for 1 hour every day.
Well, like I said, someone else was telling me last week that I should watch your streaming because you're actually quite a good gamer. So I'm guessing you're doing this on D Live. So what's your alias?
Kenn Bosak on every platform, or Kenneth every once in a while, but usually KENNBOSAK. And I stream on every platform. YouTube is I'll stream my gaming on YouTube, but I'll probably like either delete the video or make it unlisted instead of private. So if the link's out there, people can watch it, but I don't leave it on my YouTube feed. Twitch, D Live. But I'm mostly trying to focus my energy and efforts on a new platform called float.app. So that's where I've been streaming at like the most and trying to engage the most with the community there.
Why Float? I've never heard of it. Tell me about it.
That's why right there. I'm thinking of like the early adopters of, Twitter, when people were like, hey, I'm using this Twitter app, and everyone's like, well, I'm on this Facebook thing. And the early adopters reap the benefits of being an early user. Same thing with like Snapchat, Instagram, or TikTok. So I'm hoping, if I'm one of the early users of Float, that, I end up being able to be one of the legacy end users of a potential new platform. So that's really like why I'm trying to focus. Like it's easier to become, like, if anybody's watching this and wants to start a podcast or be a content creator, it's easier to start on a new platform in a very niche genre than it is to start on a legacy one. Like starting a Bitcoin podcast on YouTube, going to be a drop in the bucket. You'll never be noticed. Start a Bitcoin podcast on Mixer, where everybody's streaming Fortnite and you're the only Bitcoin option at the end of the day or something. You'll get way more hits. You'll be a bigger impact in that bucket. So that's why I'm looking at these newer platforms like Float.
Ken, someone's asking in the chat, does Ken accept Dash as a donation on his stream?
Absolutely, dude. Come on. I have
for Dash.
So I used to post it in the description bar, but then I got trolled so much. People were like, "Oh, you having your addresses for donations you have in your handout." But if people ever say, "Hey, what's your address?" I'll send it to you. I definitely have a really easy copy paste of the addresses. But yeah, I felt it, and I do kind of agree with that. It seems spammy to have like 10 different crypto addresses in the info box or description box of your video. So yeah, I do accept Dash. And the funny thing is I actually have a physical Dash coin card thing somewhere. Steve Wand from Digitable, he gave me a physical Dash coin, and I believe that it's like a Virgin Dash or something. It's like never really been transacted or something. And I've been using that address to just send more Dash to. So it's like it's like cold storage, just like a cold storage like wallet.
Someone's asked, can you add like a Dash QR on your Twitch page? So people want to send you donations. They want to send you Dash.
Oh, dude, that would be much appreciated. Well, then actually, you know what? The next time I game, because I don't normally do that, I'll put a QR code up on the screen and see if that's okay. Because I don't know how the terms and services are for that on a lot of the platforms, but I could put the QR code up on the screen while I'm playing, and I think I could see if we could do some kind of like live tally. I might be able to display the wallet's amount, and we could see like the live amount and stuff. Try to make a game out of it.
I mean, providing you can get around the Coinbase hang up, the one up coin in the messages might be pretty cool.
I'm thinking of how to make my own up bit now, because all I have to do is use, like you said, like Edge Wallet on my desktop. I can screen share just that little part of the Dash amount, so when people send Dash to the address, and it reflects on the screen share.
Yeah, but I like the
I'm an OBS wizard.
I like the messaging aspect though. Sending a donation, being able to
it looks
write a message.
Cool. I mean, I've been waiting for something like that for so long, and then for it to be a Coinbase product breaks my heart.
Man, there may be other options out there, because once someone does this, there's other people that come around. So I mean, they just have to find, they need to utilize the API, right, based on the wallet and the transaction. So I'm wondering if there's some other blockchain payment process that might be able to work the angle on that. And if there's anyone watching out there, anyone has any ideas, definitely get that out there, because there are people that want to utilize it. And gaming and streaming is such a huge avenue right now in industry. So it makes total sense to utilize that. I would like to see just a Dash specific one. I even push the community to put out a bounty to put money together to actually fund a community developer to create something that would be open source that people could use on OBS, because then that would be pushed out and broadcasted to all media platforms. I was just talking to Kenn beforehand about sharing it out on Restream and all different angles, and hopefully Instagram soon, right, Kenn?
Yeah, dude, I'm working on it, man. But if anybody's watched, they know it's not easy to live stream to Instagram from your computer. I'm working on it.
Excellent. Right. Okay. Well, we've gone way over time, but it's been well worth it. And I hope you've really enjoyed this podcast and it's been informative for you. You've been very active in the live chat, which is a very positive thing. And
this is my little sign. See, buy Litecoin and Dash, because it's, a little bit quicker than Bitcoin.
Excellent. Well, okay. So if you would like to join me and Kenn now in the after party, you can do so by going to stay-e.com. I'll just drop that in the live chat, and that will take you to the Dash Talk Discord. Hang on, no, I spelled that wrong. Sorry about that. Sausage fingers. There you go. Stay-e.com. And yes, and then basically say you'll be in the general chat and say, hey, can I join the after party? And then it's not live recorded, but you'll join myself, Kenn, people from the community, maybe even people from Dash Core Group. Sometimes we get developers, masternode owners, all kinds of people, proposal owners. We discuss everything crypto and everything else that comes with it. So definitely check that out. So this was episode 133 of the Dash podcast. I would like to thank Kenn for coming on. Thank you, Kenn.
Thank you, bro. Much appreciated. Everybody have a day.
Excellent. I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, smash the dash, and don't forget to share and subscribe. And if you've enjoyed this content, make sure you click the notification bell to be notified about future video content. Have a fantastic weekend wherever you are in the world. Stay positive, stay humble, but most importantly, stay dashy. Have a good weekend, everyone.